So number 6, you're going to factor. Factors of 28 that add to 11. What factors of 28 add to 11? 7 and 4. There you go. N plus 7, N plus 4. All right. On the bottom, factors of 56 that add up to 15. 8 and 7. So at this point, you want to tell me your discontinuities. So right here, you want to tell me what makes the denominator 0. All right. So you're going to say, well, n cannot equal -7 because of that. And n cannot equal -8 because of that. So that's my discontinuities piece of it. And then I'm going to proceed to simplify. All right. The n plus 7s can cancel. N plus 7 cancels with n plus 7. So my simplified answer here is n plus 4 over n plus 8. Let me point something out here. You cannot cancel part of a binomial, all right? What I'm saying is here, you cannot say, oh, 4 over 8 is 1/2. No, 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 no. If there is a plus sign, you can't reduce part of it. This is your final answer. There is no reducing that. You can't reduce the n's. You can't reduce the 4 and the 8. You have to reduce group over group. That's why I canceled the entire group n plus 7, the entire group n plus 7. I cannot cancel a piece of a group if there's a plus or minus there. So that is my answer for that. For multiplication, you factor first. Just go ahead and factor everything you can possibly factor here. So for 45, factors of 45 that add up to 14, all right? You're going to say 9 and 5, right? M plus 9, M plus 5. The denominator here cannot be factored. M plus 5 is what it is. Multiply. Factors of 48 that subtract to give you -2. Well, that's M minus 8, M plus 6. And then factors of 18 that subtract to give you 7 is going to be M plus 9, M minus 2. All right. And then I'm going to go through and see what I can cancel. All right. M plus 9, that can cancel top to bottom right. M plus 5 can cancel top to bottom. M plus 8 cannot cancel. M plus 6 cannot cancel. And M minus 2 cannot cancel. So I'm left with M minus 8, M plus 6 in the numerator, M minus 2 in the denominator. Let's look at division. Division. For division, you want to flip it first, okay? Yeah, so flip, you want to switch these guys. So I want to say P minus 8. You can factor this, factors of 40 that add up to give you 13. They're both negative, P minus 8, P minus 5. But over here, this becomes your numerator, this 5P plus 32, or 56P rather plus 32. So I can take out, change it to multiplication, flip this guy. So I'm going to take out an 8. We'll get 7P plus 4. And then this becomes your denominator, all right? So between 42P and 24, we can take out a 6, and we'll get 7P plus 4. All right? Now, pay attention to this one, because I'm going to be reducing kind of everything going on here. P minus 8 can reduce with P minus 8, right? P minus 5 cannot reduce, all right? 8 and 6, those are both outside of the parentheses. You can reduce those. They are not being added or subtracted to anything. Once you take them out of the parentheses, you can reduce just like you would reduce the fraction 8 over 6. So what comes out of 8 and 6? 2. So I can make this a 4, and then I make this a 3, okay? 7P plus 4 and 7P plus 4 will cancel. My 4 is left, my 3 is left, and this P minus 5 is left. So I get 4 on the numerator, 3 times P minus 5 in the denominator. If you cancel everything in the numerator, you need to put a 1, all right? Just in case that happens. I don't know if it happens anywhere on the review or anywhere on the quiz, but I'm saying if I had reduced and everything in that numerator canceled, you need to put a 1. Canceling means there's a 1 there, okay? So if you have everything in the numerator cancel, you need a 1. All right, so this is asking for horizontal asymptotes, holes, vertical asymptotes, x-intercepts, and y-intercepts. I start with horizontal and I actually listed it that way because it's easiest to do that before you factor, okay? And so for horizontal, that is your shortcut. I'm going to say, look at the degree on top and bottom. Degree is 2. Degree is 2. So for horizontal, I use the coefficients 2 over 1. So horizontal here is going to be y equals 2. And then I'm going to proceed to factor. All right, and so I'm going to factor this. The top is going to factor. You can take a 2 out, right? And that leaves me x squared minus 5x plus 4. So factors of 4 that add up to 5. So I will get x minus 4, x minus 1. So first step in factoring is take out your common factor. It will make your life easier. Because if you factor trinomial here, you will have one of your groups with an extra 2 in it. You have not factored completely. All right. So in the denominator between the x squared and the x, I can take out one of those x's and I'm left with x minus 1. And so now I'm going to start looking at my holes and my verticals. I know I have 2 discontinuities here, a 0 and a 1, because that's what makes my denominator 0, right? And so I'm going to determine which is which. So holes can come out. Which one of these can cancel?
X minus 1.
The x minus 1. What is the number that causes a problem at x minus 1? 1. So I have a hole at just x equals 1, right? Hole will happen at x equals 1. And here you don't have to put x equals if you don't want to, but it does on your answer key. So holes happen at when x equals 1. All right. Vertical. Vertical is when it does not cancel. Which discontinuity does not cancel?
X.
My x. And that would be x equals 0 at x equals 0. So that's x equals 0. All right. Then I am going to move on to my intercepts. All right. Y-intercept is where my x's are 0. So for y-intercept, I simply plug a 0 into all my x's. So I have 2 times 0 squared minus 10 times 0 plus 8 over 0 squared minus 0. What's the problem?
You can't divide anything by 0.
I can't divide anything by 0. And so the problem is I have actually already determined what happens at x equals 0. I've already told you that's a vertical asymptote. Yeah. Okay? And so if I already have a vertical asymptote at x equals 0, there cannot be a y-intercept because in order for there to be... I couldn't hear what you said. I said there can't be a y-intercept. All right? In order for that to happen, your x has to be 0. And if I've already said at 0, I have a discontinuity, there will be no place that it crosses the y-axis. All right? So for y-intercept, you would say none. All right? For x-intercept... X-intercept is where y equals 0, and this is where the numerator equals 0. So I am going to take this little factoring here to x minus 4, x minus 1. I have a problem. One of those has already canceled. If I have already designated it, it cannot be an intercept, okay? If I've already designated it, it cannot be an intercept. So the first thing I'm going to notice is that I'm going to have a hole right there. So that's not going to be an intercept because I've already said there's a hole. All right. So the only other one I could possibly have is this one. All right. So I set this equal to 0. The 2 can never equal 0 because it is a 2. All right. So I only have to worry about the x minus 4. That happens at 4.
So you just cancel out.
So I am going to say that the x-intercept happens at 4, 0. Cancel it. So I could leave it there. All right. I can leave that. I get 2x minus 8 equals 0. Add my 8 over. 2x equals 8. X equals 4. Because if I were to divide by 2 right here, 0 divided by 2 is 0. It cancels out. So you don't. If you have a constant out there and you're setting it equal to 0, it will not affect the numbers.